Post the YouTube link real quick and we'll get started. Morning, Encryptic. All right, now we're cooking with fire. So, welcome everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Double R. Hey, if you guys want to go ahead and do me a good favor, smash that like button on the way. Let me get rid of this noise. And today we're going to be talking about the only trading tool that you'll ever need, and that's your brain. You combined it with the TPO and understanding the auction. Right, this is just a graphical representation of the auction process displayed on your screen, and you're able to use your brain to decipher it and trade accordingly. So you can see I've put it back on 1 tick increments. I think just because of the range, we might have to switch back just for today, because it's kind of wild. We had a pretty big range off the open. So this morning we opened up on a gap, right? So here's overnight inventory. We talked about spike rules. We ended yesterday on a spike. If we opened up above the spike, that's going to be bullish, right? It did open up. It started to get some gas early on, started to fade and then come down. But you can see, overnight inventory is almost 100% net long, right? So it makes sense to get a little bit of a pull down here, a little bit of an auction down. We were able to identify a buying point. I posted 86 to like 88. Daniel, Izzy, what's up? I posted a point where buyers were trying to try, and then that 96 was going to be a resistance. So hopefully some people were able to catch that trade. And then today, or just now, I don't even know if I would count this as breaking the one-time framing to the high, just 1 tick above, but we can see we're on the gas here. A lot of names are kind of pulling back here, but it makes sense because they're up, a lot. So today, the plan or what we're looking for, and we can kind of see this here. This is a lot of single prints, right? And this 4610, I think, where's my paper at? I wrote it down. Yeah, 4610, the open here, is gonna be the blow off point. I think if we get above this 4610, this high is probably not going to be secure. They're probably going to try to test back up, at least up in here, this 4620. We've kind of been seeing this 4600, getting played with back and forth. We saw buyers or sellers try to shove it down, and their target was going to be this overnight prominent point of control. But remember gap rules, and I posted them early in the Discord before market opened, just in case anyone wasn't tracking them. But on a gap, when the gap doesn't fill, you go with the gap, right? So I did take a short trade today. Probably not the safest trade, but there was just a lot of opportunity. I ended up getting short at 4608, and I was actually targeting the 70, but I ended up closing at 89.25. And then I ended up getting long when we had talked about earlier. I didn't get long till 92, and then I only took it up to 90s. So not a crazy trade on the long side. But the idea here is that this gap didn't close. So in reality, what we should be looking for is looking for these buyers to show up. And once they start showing up, if they start to hold, then we want to get on board and trade it back into, where value's at, right? We can see value is not even overlapping to higher, it's just gapping above. And remember that gaps in market profile world are considered excess. So this is excess here. right? It's a lot of excess. And so, I mean, it's not necessarily saying that it's gonna get filled, but it's just something to keep in mind, right? This D low looks pretty mechanical too. Yeah, when I initially got on that short earlier, it started coming down because B period started coming down with some steam, and then it hesitated, and then like, oh man, I'm gonna have to cut this short. I was really hoping to get it down to the that prior day point of control. We're carving out some board here. So this 96 level was acting as a resistance, and now we're kind of seeing it act as a support here. It's 93 to 90 below us. Bitcoin's not really doing much. Tesla looks to be struggling a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Bad boy over. See, Apple's up, Microsoft up, Google, Amazon struggling a little bit, Tesla, Berkshire, Nvidia. I know AMD or AMC and GME both got halted today. Morning, Crispy. Alex, Adam. So let's see as this comes back down to 96. Back to this. It's a tough spot here, this 96 to 94, because we have half back from previous night or from the previous sessions. Mechanical buying here too. This is a tough spot really um to really get into a trade. So typically when we see something like this, and this is a reason why people use initial balance. And if you guys don't know what initial balance is just the first hour of the auction. That's what the pink bar represents. I like to use it for trend days, but I don't really, I don't really, I don't know. I don't have like a specific set of plays. I have specific set of things that I'm looking for, but then it's all dependent upon the reaction, right? Some people will like just place a sell limit order, right? So if we break this, they're just going to get short no matter what, and that's just not um, something that I advocate. I don't think it's, and over the long term, it won't work. Honest, but we can see the initial auction in the first hour, and typically the first hour, hour and a half, well, even a little bit later now because the London session doesn't close uh, for an hour later because of global well, daylight savings time, right? So in a situation like this, really what we're doing is just trying to identify these initial people set the auction up. So as we come back down, if we come back down, we're looking for buying to just shut off or selling to shut off, right? And buyers to step up. And then the same thing up here. If we start to get up here, we're looking for selling to come in and buying to shut off. Until we start to get outside, I mean, this initial auction was gigantic, right? And so until we start to get outside that initial range, it's not really in our best interest to just be buying into the middle here, right? Because inside this area where we have all these 4 TPOs wide, so here's 4 up to here, we have 4 TPOs wide. This is just a correction of all of this early inventory, right? They're just kind of reorganizing, repositioning, getting their shit together after that big move this morning, and then we'll start to see what they want to do, right? So typically on a gap, it's actually better and for futures traders to not trade, especially on experienced futures traders, because the opportunity can be there, and on some days you'll be a hero, and some days your account will be zero after. So um, it's better to stay safe on a gap day and just watch and let the market come to you. What else? We can see for the the tick, right? Most of the buying is above the 0 level. Not really a lot, but we are starting to come down on the tick, starting to form a little triangle here on the tick. You can see the selling that's in the weighted sectors starting to see, like I said, we're starting to see some of these weighted sectors start to look ugly, right? Energy's coming back up. We got oil down here. Where's it at? 102, right? Opened up below 100. VIX was down at 18, still down, but oil starting to come back up. Oil above 100 is not good for the market. No matter what the market's doing, it's just not good for the market, right? Back to 46. And look at the VIX. The VIX is coming right down to that trend line that dates back to November. We've talked about this. And just this is just like kind of one of those points like we talked about yesterday. Anyone that tuned in for the trade plan video, it's not necessarily like you don't want to try to predict things, right? We know that when we get a crash in volatility, because I mean basically this thing's down. Where's my this thing's down, I mean 50%. The VIX is down in 21 days, right? So this month the VIX is down 50%. So pretty big smack to the downside. So it's normal to see some bounce, right? And if you guys tune into Josh at the Trading Fraternity, I'll pull up his YouTube channel real quick. Hope I don't get in trouble for it. Oh, he always has good videos, and so Josh posts videos like every day at 5 o'clock Pacific time. He talked about he believes that this is a bear market bounce and that people are going to be looking to get even and get out, right? And if we're looking at some of these stocks, take a peek at Apple, the daily chart real quick. We can see Apple's almost back to the high of the year. Amazon's probably pretty far off still though. Not too far off, and we're coming into that resistance on Amazon that we've sold before, so get opportunity to short Amazon again. Facebook's just getting, I mean, so we have some companies that are bouncing hard, right? Tesla's almost back up. Tesla hit our first resistance today. But if Josh is right, and he tends to be right, I mean, the guy is just smart. He does a lot of research, and he trades mostly stocks, and he's all over the market. But it does make sense. We're getting this huge response. I mean, look at the move up this low here. 40% in 20. I mean, that's not even the right amount of days. It's like 40% less than 14 days, 50% move. And the same thing with Apple. Apple doesn't move like this, guys. Like not really. Um, they had this huge rip straight back down to it, held it as support, and then a huge rip up. So, and I'm not trying to tell you guys this to let you know um to like get short right now. The reason I'm telling it to you is so you can remain objective. So you can understand, like, okay, if you did miss some of this upside, right? Now's not the time to just be deciding, okay, well I'll just get long now because it's gonna keep going up because the market's back to even and everything's going on. The big thing that I'm gonna be paying attention to is we have earnings coming up. Earnings. I think it's next month. Calendar. Let me pull up an earnings calendar first. figure out a better way to. Earnings for Apple is earnings is April 28th for Apple. Okay, so not for a while. Microsoft's the same week, Google's the same week. So the last week of April. Amazon's the same week, Tesla's the same week, Berkshire Hathaway's the same week. Nvidia. Nvidia's earnings is actually for a while. Facebook's earnings that last week of April as well. So this is what I'm thinking. We have the big earnings that last week of April, and we also have a start of a new month starting Friday. And this is something that I talked about in the report that I sent out on Monday, that I really don't like to get in the way of a squeeze before the end of the month, because typically leading into the end of the month, what happens, right? These people run their books up so they can show their people that they didn't lose all their money this month, right? Well, this month they're going to be showing, the month version of the return. And if you look at something like this, let's take a peek at our map, right? 1 month performance. This isn't including today, it's just including right now. But we can see, most of these people are going to be positioned pretty well, right? Even if 3-month performance, going back a little bit too far. But the 1 month, this current month, doing pretty good, right? And like Tesla's up 34% this month, which is just insanity, right? That's like crypto shit right there. So what would make sense to me, because the global crisis is not dissipated, right? It's not completely gone. There's still just talks about it, and it's really hard to decipher if we're getting accurate information or anything like that. So I'm not trying to lure you into being bearish or lure you into being bullish. I just want you to remain objective and just trade the chart that's right in front of you. I know a lot of times we can read into things too much, but it's also important to not live in a vacuum as well. You need to be aware of the opportunities, right? Because sometimes the market profile, everything could be telling you, oh, this thing's going to go up, but something else can happen. And the same thing could be telling us that we're going to go down, but then it goes up. So if we don't stick to trading the chart in front of us, and we do that by making a proper trade plan and evaluating the market, Bitcoin looks like it's ready to go too. The 48. Oh, what happened to my... Oh, there it is. 2144. That's the target. But yeah, that's good old Warren Bees. Because he's a genius. Oh, it's just because of how I highlighted it. Because so when I highlighted it, so like if we pull the map back up, like when I pull this up, it will like change it, and I was changing this right here. So 21, it's 3-month performance, it's up 21. I mean, you could see he's been doing better than the market. He's up 21%. Market's down about like 3% now, but well, I guess let's see what's this down. Down about, yeah, it's like 3%. Yeah, so down about 3% on the market. I mean, he's just killing it because he's a genius. Sold all of his airlines and everyone said he was dumb. But I mean, he's not really a trader. He's an investor. So what? Who? Coca-Cola? Probably because he was gonna have a different set direction of what he wanted to do, and he's kind of a guy that gets his way. But yeah, so the reason I'm telling you that stuff is not to put you in the wrong mindset, but to just to make you aware, right? Remember that you just don't live in a vacuum and that things can change every single day. But so what I'm thinking is, for the rest of the month, they probably try to hold price up here, and there's probably going to be a little bit of a battle between this 4,600. Let me drag over the daily chart so we can really look at this thing going back. So we finally broke out of the top of this range, and so now this is where our range is at. So this is how big our range is now, guys. So from 41, so we're about 900 point range. And remember, the VIX is down, so the VIX is pricing in about 70.75 of a range on a daily. But this is the range now. We're in January and February's range. We had a cessation of one time framing. It lets us know that there's a little bit of buying in the market. And remember what we talked about, balance on a bigger time frame. This is why it's so important to zoom out every single day. For me, it's just what I do every single day. I always zoom out at the end of every single day, because we can get rid of we talked about how we're in this little 2 month balance. Well, we're breaking up above this 2 month balance. So now that we have the top marked, 2 week, we're going to change this to a 2 month balance. So we're in the top of the range. No, this is not the top of the range anymore. You guys are seeing how sausage is made. That's office trope. But so now we're in this bigger range, and this is the weekly chart. We're in the balance. So if we look above and come back into this 2 month balance high, there's a good chance that we trade back to the center of the range. And then if we don't get the reaction off the point of control of the range, good chance we trade to that low of the range, right? Just to keep in mind. And so something that I could see happening is, now that we're getting this breakout leading into the end of the month, on Monday, April showers start, and I could see us drifting back in, right? And then earnings at the end of the month with those big tech names probably put us, around this 44 hundred, maybe 4,500, around that level. We're at 4,596, so 100 points down is nothing lately, right? But I could see us hitting this, and then when earnings come out, if these earnings are not good, that's where it could cause it down. And in the inverse, if the earnings are good, that could be the fuel we need to set a new all-time high. Like I've said, and I still stand by it, I don't think that we get above this year 4850. I think that was the number that I was looking for early on in the year. And I just don't think that we're going to get above it this year. I know we've got a lot of time to go, and it looks like at this point we're like, oh, we're definitely going to go above it. And I'm definitely not always right either. So there's just so much that needs to get fixed before the market can rebound. But like I said, we trade the chart in front of us. Just little tidbits as you start to understand the daily profile more and more, start expanding your horizon and start looking at the global markets and getting the edge from the rest of the market. I'm reading some. Elon Musk compared himself to the foul-mouthed rapper. Why do they have to do that? The foul-mouthed rapper Eminem in a court filing alleging that the Securities and Exchange Commission in running roughshed over his First Amendment rights and it clamps down on his Twitter habit. So he basically said he is Eminem and he's just gonna just shit on the SEC. Why they gotta call him foul-mouthed? That's just a perspective. That's messed up, man. I feel like the F word in other places is not really a bad word. So we're getting that high of the break. This 40. Who's biased? Who's biased? That was just a post from the New York Post. They're not saying anything. Oh yeah, well it's a New York Post, so you already know. Just from the title of the paper that it's bullshit. What did Denzel Washington say? If you don't read the news, you're uninformed, and if you do read the news, you're misinformed. Denzel, always just full of knowledge. Like, I mean, I could listen to. I like Denzel more than Morgan Freeman, if I'm being honest. People want to pick people to narrate their lives. I'd pick Denzel. Agenda-driven language, yeah, double R, it is, yeah. It'd be nice. That'd probably be like the first thing that I would change when I become the president of the United States is that it will become a crime to post news in a fact section when you don't know if it's fact or not, right? Like all these opinion articles that get written as fact, they should be under the opinion. Uh, they should be, this is opinion piece. I hate Elon. Okay, thank you for your opinion. I think Denzel was quoting Mark Twain. Oh, was he? Well, shit. Great quote. You did? Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. Not yet. Yeah, I'm staying out of this inner area. They're just kind of doing a rotation here, right? So from probably about like 93, I think that's where the buyers really stepped up is down here in this 93. So if we get below 93, I'd like to maybe try a short, maybe try to attack some of these lows. But I'm really waiting to see if we can get above the open. I think that this is kind of a fade situation up here. And the market has been kind of well, alluding to that too. We've been kind of if we get rid of these huge tails, right? This is pretty good excess here, but the market has come up and then it kind of faded down. The market came down and it kind of faded up. So this auction that we've kind of been trapped in since the open, or since the first hour of trading, in reality, until we break those levels, we don't really want to be getting long up here or short down here. So what I'm looking for is where did the buyers step in and the sellers step in? Well, sellers stepped in here. So if we come up to this 10 and we don't see buyers hold above, then I might look to fade this back down into value. And the same thing with this 90, I like the 93 level. This 93 level, if they come down back to this 93 and they don't push past it and start to build below it, then I might try to fade it back into the center. And then the inverse, if we come up here, we get the volume, then I would try to long back up into the I'm gonna try to cover 17 because that's where the volume's at is 18. I don't want to trade into that. And then below here, I'll just have to be tight because this didn't look pretty on the way down. But there was some action down there, that's for sure. There was a lot of competition. But I mean, if this E breaks this high, we're one time framing off the low here. Well, I mean, off the C. If it breaks the B high, then that would be nice. Do I have the what? No, I don't. I just have this. Yeah. Yeah. Once the ranges start to get a little bit smaller, like maybe once summer comes back, I'll probably bring back my order flow chart. I just don't think it's really necessary. And then, something that Jim Dalton preached like pretty much the whole time in the class is that if you can't figure out how to trade on just the TPO, then the only thing that you're going to do by adding all these other tools is just end up over trading. And I think that's pretty accurate. I think last week my total was, oh fuck, I sent it to my here. It's actually pretty happy with how I traded. Yeah, so last week from the 21st to the 25th, I traded a total 423 points, 139 plus 173. Or 139. 73. 312. So I only traded 312 lots all week last week. So I've been trading a lot less. And it just it's been good to me. That I've been being a lot more patient and stuff like that. Thank you for subscribing on Facebook. I wish I could say the name, but it's not in English, and I'm not very even good at English if I'm being honest. So, but thank you. But yeah, so I've eliminated a lot of these things because I found that when we're having these big ranges like this, it was just causing me to overtrade. And since eliminating them, I've been being patient, waiting for the trade to come to me because you have limited a little bit what seems like limited information, right? It just seems that way because you know that there's other tools are available. But until you become a true master at understanding the auction process, adding these other tools are only going to complicate your trading style and start giving you false signals or start giving you, confidence when the confidence really isn't there, or sometimes contradicting information you see on your order flow chart and you're like, oh, I love that. And then then you disregard what the TPO is telling you. And that can get you in a lot of trouble, right? I think, I mean, I haven't really looked at the order flow chart from the past week, but I think if I were to be trading an order flow chart, that I probably would have been shorting a lot of this because I had a pretty negative bias. I still kind of have a negative bias, right? And I think I probably would have been trying to get short on a lot of these days, but because the market profile helps me stay on point, I didn't. And I honestly believe that with those order flow tools, it would have gotten me into a little bit of trouble. And that's just me specifically, right, for my trading style. And I've also been focused on, but Brad, green dot long, yeah. I've also been focused on catching more moves and trading level to level lately. So I've been like my average trade I think was like my average trade was like 5.5 points or something on average. So that's pretty decent. Normal, I think mine February's was like 2.5, 3 maybe. So a whole 2 points per trade, that adds up quick, and it's less psychologically, taxing, less mentally taxing. I'm able just to stay patient, wait for the trade to come to me. If I only make one good trade a day, then I only make one good trade a day, right? But over time, consistently, if you make one good trade a day, and let's say you make one good trade today and it was 5 points, right? And you're trading the MES, And so you made 25 bucks. Whoa. I need to get like a Surface Pro. That's what I need. So you made 25 bucks today, one trade. Okay, great. That's lunch money. Some people are like, that's not enough. 25 bucks not enough to live off. It's not, right? But think about when, let's see, who's one of the hardest working athletes that we know, right? Kobe, right? Think about when Kobe was, well, actually Kobe's probably not a good idea because he probably was getting paid under the table. Whoa. Yeah, RIP. Kobe's man. I mean, he was one of the hardest working athletes. He really was. But so think about what? What- Oh yeah, Kobe. I mean, Kobe was. I mean, he was just a winner. But so you think about Kobe when he's in high school, right? And he's in the gym, 24 hours. I mean, 20 hours a day. This guy, he barely sleeps. I mean, he's just an animal, right? He's very ritualized. He does everything all the time. He doesn't miss gym. Like he always is there. And he's not getting paid shit in high school, right? But he sees the end goal. He's looking at that target, right? And he's not even looking. Kobe's so fixated on being the best, he's probably not even thinking about money. But we're just going to use him as an example, right? Money was just an add-on to his greatness because that's what he was after. He was after greatness. Um, but you made this $125 trade today, right? One lot, 5 points, right? Tomorrow you make the same one. 30 days from now you make the same one. That 25 bucks after 30 days, it's adding up, right? And so you've made it 30 days in a row. So now this time you're going to make it with 2 lots, right? And so now you're making 50 bucks per day. Now you're going to make it with 3 lots, right? 75, 4, 100. Now you're going to make it with one ES slot, and it's going to be 250 bucks. Well, 250 bucks a day on this one trade that you've perfected per day turns out to be 250 a day. And what's 250 a day? Where is my binder? Because I have it written down on the front of the fucking binder. 250 a day is $62,500 a year. Right? The average salary in the United States is only it's like 35,000 or some shit. It's nothing. Right? Even though the median house price in the United States is 500 grand, which is just fucking insane. Um exactly. And it always will, because that's the thing is everyone everyone gets so fixated on the future that they forget that we got to trade the chart right here. And you got to make $25 today before you can make $50 tomorrow or $250 a day a year from now. It's just what has to happen. It's just how it goes. Because like it or not, to be consistently successful in this environment, you have to treat yourself like a professional, and it depends what type of pro do you want to be. You want to be a pro in the league for morning trend. You want to be a pro in the league for, a couple years. You want to be I mean, Matt Barnes just got a job. I was going to use Matt Barnes because he disco a little bitch, but um maybe anyone remember Muggsy Bogues? Right? Undersized. I think he was 5'4". He could dunk the fuck out of the ball. Like, I mean, that's hard work. You know what I mean? 5'4". Can you imagine the challenges that he faced his whole life? People probably telling him, yo, you're not tall enough to be a basketball player. Yeah. He was flying. Did anyone see that dunk? I don't know if anyone watched the Dubs game last night, the Warriors game. But Kevin Looney got dunked on hard last night. It was nasty. But I mean, like, these things you've got to keep them in mind, and if you don't remind yourself every now and then you'll forget. You know what I mean? That's why the basics are so important. And I think I honestly believe that's why so many traders fail. That's why I don't call myself a trader, I call myself a risk manager, because that's my main focus every day is managing risk, because it's the way I'm going to feed my family and do the things that I want to do, right? So if I'm out here gambling or just guessing or showing up to work unprepared, right? I mean, think about your wide receiver on a football team, and uh, you know, the quarterback calls an audible, and you didn't study the new audible list because they change it every single week, and he tells you running out, and you running in, he throws the ball to the corner, it gets picked off and ran back for a touchdown, and you guys lose the game because you didn't do your fucking homework. Huh? Well, we always got to do our homework. ASX hack short the Ponzi. Which one's that, Links? AX. Alex, are you in a short still? I know you were shorting a couple things. Well, this thing's ripping. Axis Capital. I this is what you're talking about, Links. I don't think I'd get in short right now. Way to do it. And that's one thing we talked about last night too. If you guys didn't get a chance to tune into that video, just got here. How are things looking? They're looking good. We're kind of just hanging out in value on the ES, and Bitcoin's really trying to hold itself above this previous balance zone so we can eventually come up here to this 52.44. But it wouldn't be surprising to see a little bit of a liquidation and then build this back in, and then test that upside again before it goes up to 50K. Here's up. So no. No, I do a stream every day at 8:30. I did a stream last night so I could basically walk everybody through how I do my trade plan every single day and how I prepare for the market the next day. Um, oh, the coin. And I mean, it should have been posted. I changed the title so it's easier to find because it was supposed to be, um, ooh, it's getting smacked hard. Oof. What's going on here? You're a little bit late to the party if you want to get short here, though. It could still keep running, but spot. And a lot of balance down here. Watch that level there. But yeah, that video should be on YouTube, so check it out. And I mean, that's just what I do every single day. Every single day, right? Now I just post it in the Discord. Um, but I do it every single day. And the big thing that I talk about is if you're going to write a trade plan or have a trade plan and you can't type it out, you can't express it in a paragraph format, then you really don't have a full understanding on what your trade plan is. You know what I mean? So just key things that it's only about an hour and 20-minute video. It's a pretty good video, and it's something that you should be doing every single day. See what we got going on here. Close up to that 610. You're seeing a lot of buyers trying to step up here above this 4600. It just makes that 4610 just kind of makes me nervous. Your short BTC from 47,935. Stop loss and profit. 47. Oh, nice. Double R just over here fighting trends again. So, I mean, that's the thing is like there's opportunity for Bitcoin on the downside. You have all these stops just lined up. You see this kind of poor lowish off of that 5 o'clock open. But you kind of have all these stops just lined up. Even if we scroll back, oh, we scroll back on the day, you can kind of see below this low, a bunch of stops lined up all the way down too. And there's really not much volume. You have a little bit of volume here, and then volume here at our level. So that could be target to the low side. I mean, we've seen obviously it can move like that in a 30-minute period. Could happen for sure. And as we approach these lows, saw them fill in this too. So see how there's no volume here, but then we get it here. So that's the cutoff point. If it gets below this price, it's gonna come probably straight down here. Think anyone watches our screens? I feel like sometimes I just draw shit and then it just happens right after I draw stuff. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm telling you, dude, I have a superpower, and my superpower is like Domino from fucking Deadpool. The luckiest. I just have like incredible luck. That's what it is. That's my superpower. No, Alex, your style is good in a strong trending market. You just have to flip it over. You're just gonna have to find those patterns on the opposite side, or don't take any. Yeah, don't take any against the trend. Yeah, that's true. You would have. Yeah, you definitely would have to. Man is looking to break out. I want to watch this. Oh yeah, man is. I haven't really looked at this. Bitcoin's just been offering so much opportunity lately. I pretty much. So right down to that value area low, or the VWAP, the weekly VWAP, and then kind of been popping up. We've seen people who've just been buying the VWAP lately too. There we go. Shorts are starting to cover up here. We're back to that 46.10. We can get some volume up above this 46.10. There could be some upside here, but you've got to get volume, because if not, it's just going to be a fade opportunity. You wonder if those peace talks, that because there's peace talks going on, they concluded. You said peace talks doesn't mean ceasefire, but um oh, you left your take profit at 10%. Yeah, it's okay. 10% is good. But you wonder if those peace talks come out and it's just like, Russia's like, we're pulling out of Ukraine, if the market just goes fucking, I think that could, something like that could really just change the trajectory. So we still see that resistance off that 46.10. If this thing pulls back, look for that 46.04 to to try to hold. That's where it looks like buyers were trying to hold on the way up. 4604 to 4600 really. But above that 4610, there's space up there. But the volume would have to come in above that 4610. You want to see volume come in above this 4610 in order to try to get long, because if not, you're honestly looking at selling this rally, trading it back into that value. There it goes. That's why we have our levels. There's levels to this shit. Did anybody see that crazy crash in Pennsylvania? There's like a 50 car pileup or some shit. It was insane. Saw a video on Twitter. It was crazy. Stock market is fine. The fact that they're holding prices in this zone so long makes me right that they want to hit that low. I mean it just makes sense, right? I mean that's where stops are at for sure. We know that for sure. There's stops here. So it would make sense structurally to come down and spend a little bit of time here. And if we scroll back, because this was just a gigantic balance zone here. You can see we were tracking balance from like 34 to 47 because that's just how volatile Bitcoin was being. And so that's kind of what we had to do. But you can see like we don't really have a lot of, every time we trade through this little zone here, it doesn't really fill in. So it would make sense to come down here and give us a little bit of structure before we come back up and start pushing on these highs, right? And trade back into this upper balance up here. And it would still respect trend too, right? We have this trend forming off the bottom, so even if it comes down and spends some time, as long as it still respects this trend, then we have really nothing to worry about. Not a huge fan of fighting trends. Something. Oh, they announced a security breach. Do it. I wonder if that's what's affecting other cryptos too. I have not. Damn, see, look at that. It wasn't down to that line when we left, was it? Came right down to that line and then bounced. I'm just saying. Just saying. It's just market structure, guys. That's all it is. That's all it is. Just straight up market structure. You could even rewind the video. Promise that line wasn't there before. Twitter saying ASX Conan Bridge got, damn, 25 mil and 173,000 underneath. The Mexican cartel attacked the airport yesterday? Oh, mames. That's insane. I didn't even see that. What the fuck? How was that not on the news? Cancun too. That's a vacation spot. Back in resorts. Yeah, here. Oh, old one. Yeah, that Cancun airport. Yeah, everyone goes there. Like, when I was in high school, everyone would go there for their senior trip if they're rich. I didn't go, but well, it says yeah, the latest photo. Damn, that's nuts. The cartel is no. I can't find the article. Can we short ASX now? Yeah, now there's opportunity. We just got to see. I mean, we're seeing the volume come in down here. So now there's the opportunity. We got that initial bounce, right? That's where we know that they're not, that the selling started to shut off. And so now that we're back in this volume, really want to, as long as we can see some continuation and stay out of this previous zone here below this, we can stay below here, we should be good to go. And then below this 61, oh, I keep going to my Epic pen. Below that 61, like our ticket. Yeah, I can't find the article. If you have that article, shoot me that article. I'd like to read that. Brad, was this your thought of downside to upside? What do you mean, Burnwell? On this AXS? The this level was just a level to watch to see the reaction. It came right down and then bounced right back up. So selling just shut off right there. That's kind of what we were looking for, to see where the selling was gonna, you know, give up, because it's news driven, right? They have a breach, and we know that a lot of times the market gets a little bit emotional, and we don't want to be, you know, kind of taking part in that, right? Because this thing could easily, if this was, I mean, we know it's emotional driven, but if there's not actual selling and it's just an emotional driven push down, there might be people securing this. Because like I said, the news, you don't really know if it's a confirmed yes or no. You have no idea to know, and you have no idea how other people are going to react. And you know, us not having the, I mean, me myself not having the size account to kind of smack the market around, we just have to trade off that. Okay, yeah, that was it. One minute, 4 hours to the close. Yep, right. If this thing hangs out above 46.05 much longer, there probably could be that pop to that 10, and then that 10 could take the high. We'll see, we get a new period right here. Here we go. F period opens up. .4605 acting as the resistance here. They're doing a little bit of battling. We had this 4604 level acting as support earlier. 4605 is holding as resistance. And this is that, just that chop zone, guys. It just, you know, just kind of stays in like that. That's why, you know, a lot of times it's best to just stay out of that. 4,600, if buyers give up to 4,600, could see even a little bit more of a spill. Because that was at like 4,604 to 46. Little buying off that E low, mechanical. Right? I would say the selling off that F high is mechanical as well. Even the E high is a mechanical high, right? It's right off the open. But we've seen, mechanical selling easily just push price down, and we've seen mechanical buying easily push price up. So there's no reason to trade against it. Until we get close to that reference, the reference really is just something that you take and jot down, right? So like this mechanical reference at 4605.50, we know that that's where the selling came in. This E high is right at the open. We know that's a mechanical reference. So that doesn't tell us, okay, let's get long here because we're gonna break that open. There's good odds that that open doesn't hold, but we're not really looking to trade against that open until price is getting a little bit higher with a little bit more confidence. For me, honestly, I want to see it get broken and hold above before I look to get long. And that just comes with, staying patient and letting the trade come to you. Chop a style, chop, chop. Yeah, it really is. It's really just back and forth. Bitcoin, if it breaks this low here, it's going. Belaruski. And another big thing too that I'm looking for, if the market, I mean, this market's made a huge move up, and so has Bitcoin, so they've been trading pretty correlated. But if they start to diverge, uh, that's where Bitcoin is gonna get its, um, recognition as a store of value. If it starts to hold some of these gains as the market goes down. All this is just talking. We all know what to do before we start trading real money. But what is that, Mad Max? What do we do? Tell us. I mean, I trade real money. I think pretty much everybody here does trade real money. I think we're all trading real. So what are you gonna do before you start trading real money? Make a trade plan? That's right. Type it. Go back above the 4,600. Right, this is in 4,600 is very psychological, easy to see number here. And there's nothing wrong with trading on a sim account. I advocate for people to trade on a sim account when they're learning because that's what practice is. You don't just show up to the NBA and start start the game, right? You show up to the NBA and clean the floor because you haven't done any practice. Unless you're Allen Iverson, you need to get your ass in the gym and do some practice. The cool thing about a lot of these futures trading platforms, and TradingView even too has it, where you can go back in time and practice during times when the market's slow or times when you're not actually trading real money, and get practice on previous days. It's one of the only things, and you can even do it in fast forward, which is uh sometimes a bad idea because it's a little bit easier to sit in a trade when it's going fast than when it's going slow. But he gone? Come on. Thought we were about to get some godsend info or something. There goes a bit more downside. target will be 94 here. Back below the 4,600. Keep smacking this thing down. They should try to go for that 94. 94 was the last support for buyers previously that we saw. And then below that was like 88 to 86. Bounce at the start of single pins. Where are our single pins? Down here. Yeah, that would be, yeah, if it gets some support down here in the singles, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to, I don't honestly really want to see Bitcoin get too much below 45K. I'd like to see it hold, I'd like to see it hold 45K. $35,831. What's that? Flying Pop. What's up, man? Back at that 4,600 level, so they weren't able to keep smacking it down. 35,831. Get wrecked. That's your target on the downside? If it breaks through those singles? Apple's up 1%, Microsoft is up 0.5%, Google's up 1%, Amazon's green now, Tesla's green now, Nvidia's green, Facebook's up 2.5%. Nobody gives a shit. Disney's up. You guys see what happened to my boy today? I had to spread the position this morning. Had this huge run up, and I started to get scared. So I just sold a farther call out of the money. So I have a debit spread on now for this play. I've locked in some cash, but just got a debit spread. So the way, I mean, I turned it into a debit spread, so it's a little bit different now. But the way that it works is I bought a call a little while ago, a 250 call, a $250 call. So basically if GME were to go up to 250, I would be able to own the stock. I basically secure my spot to buy the stock at $250. Even if it goes up to 500, let's say, they have to give me my 100 shares per contract of GME at 250. Well, I bought the contract, let's just to make this easy, for $1, for $100, for $1, right? And it's gone up a lot, and so my $250 call is now worth $5. But I still think there's opportunity for upside in GME, so I don't want to close this. And so what I did is sold a $300 call, and what it was, but let's just say it was 100. So I get 100 back. So there's my initial investment. And now I can make the difference in between 250 and 300. And as time starts to come down, the theta of the contracts will come down. So if I sold this to somebody for $100, and let's say 2 weeks from now GME is still trading sideways at 179, well, this $100 that I sold it to them is going to be worth probably $50. And so I'll buy it back for $50 and then uncap myself on the upside. But basically what it does, it kind of caps your upside, but actually gave me back my initial investment. So it's a free play no matter what. So even if it goes down to 0, I still lose nothing because I already got my money back. They're trying to smack this thing down here. Where I said 94 was that last support, and now we're below that 4600 and it looks like holding. So you're gonna short Luna and AVAX. Ooh, sympathy play. Where's the entry at? No, Pop, I closed my Bitcoin long like a little, or double R, like a little chicken shit. Yeah. I closed it. I closed it. I was texting Ramon yesterday. I closed it. Oh, pussy. I know, I know, I know. I really want that 52,000. Short at 104.60. Target is 84. Ooh, I like that. Tough short though. This is where that balance at. It to 84 to the, oh, so basically the bottom balance. Yeah, I think that's a good target actually. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. What was the other one? Uh, Payback. Well, that one looks to be going 92, 44, targets 83. I haven't looked at AVAX in a while. I haven't drawn purple lines on the chart in a fucking while, to be honest with you. The only purple line that I have on the chart now is our Bitcoin long line. This one's going pretty good, huh? What's the target here? 83. Watch that. Yeah, watch this 88, 685 level here. The action. That could that's that could be a little area too. And there's balance here. Is there a way to extend this drawing? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Luna is? Yeah, Luna's been a winner. Who is? Oh, $10 billion. Oh, okay. Dang. Yeah, I like Luna. We've been tracking Luna too. Inversely with Bitcoin actually. You can see Luna's been winning and Bitcoin's uh down on the bottom. Right? And this they've been inversely trading lately. See, that's the part that I don't have. I've got a lot of knowledge in the overall stock market, but when it comes to the crypto market and like the burns and all that stuff, that's not my my forte. So if there's like other events like that, yeah, definitely let me know because I have no idea about that kind of stuff. I don't have the resources. Sailors buying again, 200 mil. Buying Bitcoin again. Energy Web token, crazy inverse at that. Which one is that? What's the ticker for that one? See, it blows my mind that some of these tokens are going up so much, and um, this token, and it came up to 48, but I mean, I guess it's a pretty relatively new-ish coin. I just kind of feel like long term that CRO, BNB, especially lots of big names on it. Oh, in it. But long entry on BTC. 250 million loan to buy more. It is harder to trade with a small amount when it comes to crypto because of the illiquidity and the fees. Um, it becomes a little bit easier once you figure out like your risk management. Alex has a good video on that. The double P. AAVE pumped hard too. They're fighting over this 4600 level here, guys. And they're slowly trying to grind it down. I was trying to get down to that 94, but I ended up covering that shortness. I had to take a quick one underneath the 97, but nothing too special down there. Catch trade. Might have been, yeah, couple were green, couple were right there. Should have just stayed out of the no box. Starting to get a little bit of selling in the market here too. At least in the weighted sectors, we're still not really seeing any strong buying coming in. It's just kind of just consolidation. If we look over here, some of our bigger names, we're really just in this kind of consolidation now. We came up. A lot of names have come up initially, right? We can see that, and then we're kind of just hanging out for the most part. Berkshire is a little bit different story. It's because financials aren't doing great right now, but they're heavily financially weighted because he's making a big bet on banks. Now we're gonna get that 94, I bet. Get any volumes. But you can see it's just consolidating, so we, just wait for this thing to break. Give ourselves a little bit of clues here. Getting some alerts. There's that 94. This is kind of the area that I expected them to try it. See if that was it. They just smacked the 94 and then back right to the 4600. Pretty weak. Okay, we're seeing Apple start to go up towards that top. So if Apple starts to break the top, then we'll know that there's some opportunity for some upside. Do the same thing with Amazon. Downside. You know, this thing actually sends you emails too now. You guys have seen that. Watch that 94 if we go back down there and test it again. There's a lot of action. Well, 95 to 94-ish area on the EM. Below this level, we saw 86. Was it like 86 88, I think was the level that we were looking at. How much time do we got? We got 5 minutes until the next period opens up too. All right, guys, let's go back to. Oops. And we can kind of we can see it here on these bar charts a little bit easier than that line chart, right? Everything just kind of like it came down, came back, and then is just kind of holding out steady compared to yesterday, though, right? Like this filled its gap from yesterday. Apple has not filled its gap from yesterday. Amazon, I don't even think Amazon's on a gap. Yeah, it wasn't. Else probably Facebook. Facebook hasn't filled its gap. Pretty strong reaction. Low here. I still think that it wants to come back down. Test this. be honest. That was a lot of volume down here, I think, to just kind of leave it be. I know we had previous volume from over here in this initial open, so there's only 2 periods total. But that looks like a lot of volume down there to just kind of leave untested. So there goes the 94 breaking. So the next level below this one, I think, is not really down until this 86-ish area. And this is going to become a big resistance here, this 94, 95 level. If they're able to keep holding it below, it's going to become a big resistance on the way back up if they're, you know, if they kind of do what they've been doing, buying breaks and selling rallies. 47, 1, 2, 3, September 20, monthly open. A little bit of buying off that 92. And you can see there's thin volume here too, so that tells us there wasn't as much action or much competition down here. So they're gonna have to fill. You're gonna have to get some sellers that want to move down and sell this. That's the thing, and it's tough. It's tough to want to move down and sell something like that unless you're getting participation from some of these other guys, right? Amazon starting to participate here. So they're a little bit lower. Does that make sense to you guys about that? That's how the auction is working? Because if not, we can talk about it. Gold has a nice opportunity to buy. Yeah, gold. Yeah, gold is looking like it's coming up, starting to just form this balance here, and like a 5-day balance, pretty much. Gold is a beast to trade. I'm not a huge fan of any like gold ETFs really either, to be honest. Can you see my link on Twitch, Get Wrecked? I cannot. I didn't get it. You bought some? I'd buy physical gold over a gold contract if you have that opportunity. Or silver. And when you come to my farm in Minnesota, you could just give me a little shaving of silver and I'll give you some apples. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's that guy that has a huge nickel short, and he's pretty much backed by JP Morgan at this rate. Yeah. Yeah, billions of extra dollars just in case. Like, yeah, what's the margin? Couple billion? Oh yeah, we got you. God damn. We borrow a couple billion for a little bit on a position that I shouldn't be in too. I mean, it's just unfortunate because like, I mean, yeah, the guy has the opportunity. I mean, but that's really how it goes. You know what I mean? Like the margin that Michael Burry was paying during the housing crisis was getting, you know, a little bit out of control, and then finally it cracked. If it didn't crack, right, Apple's starting to participate on the low now here. Next level down is this 86 level. But notice the tempo on the way down now, guys. We're one time framing down from the E. And notice the tempo which we came down versus the tempo in which we came up. So that should kind of, you know, just at least resonate in your brain a little bit. Like, okay, we came down a little bit faster than we came up, which is normal. And now we can just monitor for continuation or for them to just kind of quit here. It doesn't, I mean, as of right now, it doesn't look like they are. That was just a little bit of liquidation, and it looks like they're still selling it here. There's Amazon crossing the low. Bitcoin's coming back down. So there's the 86. It pops a little bit, right? This is where buyers were at last time, this 86 to 88 level. And they're trying to hold on, but it doesn't look good. Only 40 contracts traded on that low right there, it looks like. Not a ton, and we're kind of seeing some buying trying to step up here. This 86, and they just keep getting smacked. A lot of volume coming in down here. We're also spending a lot of time up here. Notice, like, when we first came down here, if you were watching early on, we really hung out down here, right? And then when we came up in this E high, we literally just tapped that 10. I don't know if we even, if it was just like just one tap and then just started coming straight back down, really. Yeah, it was just a little tap and then boom, just straight back down. So it's a lot less time spent up here and a lot more time spent down here. So when you're talking about developing value, right, we have value here where our widest part is 6 TPOs wide here, to 5 here. So this is where most of our value is at. And as we're starting to get, look, we've got 5 coming in down here. So look, there's some developing value moving lower. Right? So as we came to the upside, we didn't start to develop more value to the upside, but as we came lower, we started to develop more value to the lower side. Which is why we pay attention to value and not price. Right? Price is just a advertising mechanism, just a reference. So when I say something on the chart, we can all be on the same page. Oh, nickel nuked so hard. Yeah, they bailed him out so hard it was bullshit. You bought some physical gold get wrecked? So look, so far they're able to hold that 86. This is where they held out last time. But like I said, we spent a lot of time down here. Very thin though. Look at, you could tell that it was a liquidation. Look, 58, 46. This is on 2 ticks, but this is on 1 tick. 58, 46, 53. There's some thin spots up here that probably will look to get back filled if they are gonna continue down. Yeah, send it to me in the. Oh, I see your link now. There we go. I can't click on it though. Yeah, just send it to me in DM, senpai. Better for me, anyways. 'Cause then I'll just have it. I don't think this saves the chats. Oh, okay. On Binance, yeah. And that's the thing too. Like, so there's a lot going on this week in the market, or coming up soon as well. With we have um the marijuana bill getting voted on tomorrow, and then there's also a there's some crypto bill is in there. I can't remember what it's called. But so if they are to accept crypto and start to regulate it, the big winners in the US, I think, are gonna be BNB Finance, right? It's a pretty big exchange, and then maybe crypto.com, maybe KuCoin, right? It's really dependent, I guess, but little absorption from sellers right there on the 90-ish level, it looked like. What was it? 89 quarter. Bitcoin rejecting that. A pop above this 90 or this 89 quarter where we saw this absorption probably takes us back up to fill in some of these weak spots, maybe up to well, probably that 91, but probably back up to like 93 on a pullback. Maybe even up to that 4600, depending upon how much these sellers want it. Like I said, you know, we are having developing value lower, so the safer bet would be selling rallies, but we've been seeing it all day, and this G low didn't take out that B low excess, so we can't really get that continued auction down to the low. So we don't want to be shorting down here, right? If you are looking for a short, you should be looking for a short, up where we saw that resistance, and that'd be like 94, 95 level. If they reject that level on a retest, right? And it looks like they're trying to hold price down here to fill everything. You said 171 lots at the bid. Not your best couple weeks. Oh, did you get stopped out? AAB. Hey, Clipper. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, that trade plan video. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. I'm gonna put together well, I already have the slides, but once I post the boot camp, I'm just gonna post all the slides too, so you guys will be able to do what you will with them. I'm having to clip them and put them on they're called PowerPoint though, because I made them on the internet. So they're above the 89. Watch some of this backfilling here to see if they run that back up to that 94, 95. That's kind of where the sellers were present at last time, because we came down, hesitated a little bit, some more selling came in on that G open, and then they pushed that price down. But no extension of the initial auction, right? That B low, good excess still intact. The A high, good excess still intact. It's kind of a lot of excess on the upside, so I'm not a huge fan of something like that. I think that there's a good chance that we test something like that, but I'm not just getting long here and crossing my fingers and praying. Oh, my bad. Links, you said AAV. Is break. Yeah, that thing turned around quick, huh, Alex? Holy shit. Did 235? The oil starting to drop? Yeah, oil's still. Balance. 230 would be my target. If I was long already, I'm not long, but if I was long, that would be my target. If you keep getting, it might take a couple of days though. But that's a bigger balance area there. Could even, I mean, it could even be and volatility's. VIX is kind of just hanging out still. Oil's not really good. They said PA has been less last week. Factor. They gave me that. So, oh damn, that sucks, Alex. 2 weeks no winners. Um, the big thing was yesterday's profile. We didn't have a lot of mechanical references. We can see like on the pullbacks yesterday. So after that low, this G low was mechanical, but it was kind of on the top of balance, so it was really kind of a tricky low. But H low wasn't really mechanical. I and J, I guess you could call this mechanical, but it didn't really appear so. And then this pullback, this K that really shot us off, because our target yesterday was just to get long above 540, and that's kind of where it shot it off. And it wasn't really very mechanical. It was a previous day's high, but not very um not very mechanical on the upside when you compare it to some of these previous days. Although I guess Friday wouldn't have been a good day because it was kind of a wash day. But I mean, we can see on Friday it was kind of just people were just kind of buying the lows, and then some of these other up days, like this K right to the H low to the G half back. So price just jumped up to that 95 right there. So watch this level here on the ES. D right to the C half back, right? C to the B low, A to the spike base. So it was so mechanical. They were just buying off references, and the volume also was so low that it was basically telling us, guys, what's this profile look like? Somebody call it out. But basically, it was telling us that it wasn't a big thing of a lot of buyers just hitting the market and buying that thing up. It was just nobody was selling. There was just nobody uh, selling. So if there is no supply, then it's just gonna go up. You know what I mean? Just a fact: supply and demand. If you go to the farmer's market and there's only one apple left, and you and this guy both want it, and you need this apple, right? This is the apple of life. How much are you willing to pay for that apple? People just chase price up. That's just how it goes. And if you're a seller and you see this happening, Well, why would you be, if you're smart money selling it, and if we take a peek at this, freaking out, Microsoft's crossing the high, it looks like it is. Oh, so when we look at this on the daily time frame, you can see as we're coming up, sellers waited patiently to sell, and they sold here. And this was kind of a combination of just news and profit taking, but they were patient. And so, where is a good opportunity to sell again above balance, right? And that's what they're waiting for. And nobody called it out, so I'll just go ahead and call it out. It looks like a B. And if a B gives a 45-degree angle, obfuscate. A lot of times that can mean sellers are getting trapped. Because a B represents what? Quiz time. Who's got the answer? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A B represents long liquidation. A B profile is a representation of long liquidation. Right? And so that's telling us that this downside, unless it gets elongated, is weak. But we know also that the buying the past couple of days has also been weak. Now, there's not a poor low. We know that the buying has also been weak. So if there is some supply that's going to come in, where is it going to come in at? Right? Above. They're patient. Smart money's patient. If we look at here, this move initially moved down wasn't due to everybody selling and panicking. You had hedge funds shorting the market, and you can look at the COT reports. They were just shorting the shit out of this thing. And then nobody buying. Institutional money wasn't buying. They weren't doing anything. They were just hedging against their long position. That was it. So we had a pop initially because we started to see a bunch of short covering. People stopped buying. People stopped buying. It came back down off of news. This pop right here was probably just due to people getting too short. T profile turns this into short covering. People got too long, liquidated, and now we're forming the J, right? I just created something new, PB&J. Boom. Like, I mean, it's just that's what's happening right now, and that's why it's so important to zoom out. Because I wanted to short this thing all the way up too. I really did. I was thinking about it like every single day, and I just didn't because it just didn't, jive with my trade plan. But believe me, like I was thinking about shorting like the whole time. I was in a long trade. I'm like, this thing's gonna fucking go down, like the whole time. So we came up to that 98 there. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be getting short. I mean, so that's the thing. So I'm not saying yes. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of practice. Like before, because I do scalps like that. Like while we're trading, I'll take a couple little ticks here, a couple ticks there, right? But what you just got to have to understand that exactly what you just said. You know what I mean? Like you understand that it was a risky trade and you were just looking for it quick, and then there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to tell you guys to not take those trades if you're comfortable with them. It's just if you're looking for the more A plus or safety trades, that's when you wouldn't take that trade. But I mean, there's definitely opportunity there because one, there's a bunch of volume there, and it's pretty easy to see, especially after a big move down like that, right? So yeah, I don't think that was a bad trade. Smart. Yeah, that was good. And then when something like that happens, because your trade looks like it won probably right away, when something like that happens, try to give it a little bit of space on the top side and just have your finger on the flat and close yourself out of the trade, right? Don't try to drag your stop to the perfect spot. Just put your finger on the flat button or the close button and move your profit target up a little bit. So if it does jump down, then it'll hit you. But if it doesn't, you can close it out yourself. Exactly, Trin. Long liquidation is a sign that nobody was that there was no buying up here. So no, there was initiated buying off all these mechanical lows, right? I mean, I guess maybe more responsive buying is what took us up, combined with a little bit of short covering. And then once we got up to this area, once the market auctioned up here today, they were just like, nah. And then you just started to see them liquidate, and that's what causes, panic. People get a little bit too short, and now we're kind of seeing this B profile form. And it's the same idea as a B profile with a P profile. If you start to see this B profile elongate, that's when we're gonna know, okay, there's some supply in the market. But we're really, I mean, still in a gap. And this is the gap is this is we have a gap and a gap on a spike too. So there's just support down here. That's the thing. Like there's a lot of support down here, giving people the opportunity to buy in late. People that haven't participated in this up move, that gives them the opportunity. And remember, most people are buyers. Most people are looking to buy things. Naturally, it's just human instinct, I think. And a lot of people are looking to buy things and for them to just go up and then keep them forever. And that's what, I mean, that's what you call um, bag holding, but that's more of like an investing. People call it bag holding when you hold a losing trade, but when you hold a long-term position, just because it's red doesn't mean it's a bad position, right? I'm sure Warren Buffett has had some long-term trades that are great now that at the time weren't always in the best position. My Discord. What the fuck? Same chart pretty much. I think Biden's coming on soon as well. But so basically, to follow on to that, with the auction, so when we have a liquidation and we're able to identify it with this B-shaped profile, what that's telling us is that the selling in here has just been liquidation, that we haven't got any initiated selling to take price past this low of this initial auction, right? The A high and the B low. So unless we get below this B low, that's basically telling me I don't want to be getting short, right? I mean, there might be some short opportunities up here because we keep just kind of fading in between. And if we don't see buyers up here again, you know, but the safer bet is to wait until it gets here, build some volume, and then target, that overnight point of control, which was 14 TPOs wide. Right here, I mean, you can see this lines up. This TPO was 10 wide. 10's pretty prominent. It comes pretty much right down to it, and then gets bought up a little bit. And like I said, that when I'm looking at the overnight profile, I'm looking at the high, the low, and the point of control. If we have kind of a double like we have here, well, then you've got to look at both. Anything above 9, 8, 9 really is pretty prominent. But I mean, you can kind of see. Well, it might be hard on your screen because this is dark green, but it pops out right here. Trading in the chop zone right now, exactly. Don't diddle in the middle, yeah. Stay out of the no-no box. I mean, there's opportunity here below this 95. If sellers keep holding this down, they've got like basically like 93 to 98 really has just been a ton of selling. But they just didn't get any. Nobody wants to sell us any apples for cheap. They're being stingy, patient. If they give up like 95, 6, it'd be some upside here. Could start to cover back up into like. I mean, this is just such a weird kind of thin spot. This is the widest part of our profile and has the thinnest volume. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird to me. There's 6 here though, so you're getting the value shifting lower, but this is probably where that liquidation's at. So if it gets above, well, and that's the 4600. That was the big fight zone earlier too. Who's been trading lately? Hey, look at this right here on AMD. You've got a 3-day balance. I get rid of the here's our balance. And look, it's just resting right on the top of balance today. You could even, I mean, this was probably you could give it a little bit of that, and you could see they're buying above balance. So if AMD does come back into balance and starts to hang out, there's good odds that it comes back down to that 117 where it has other balance below. But it's been doing really well. All of these chip makers have been doing really well. Nvidia's been, leading us up, been killing it. Nvidia was kind of our first signal on the upside here. Going on. And then into also. Okay. So there's a little bit of a little push down here. Remember, we're still one time framing down. We have a mechanical high on H, mechanical high on G, mechanical high on F, but can't just get long on hope and prayer that we're going to fix mechanical references. Starting to get a little bit of interest here. That, remember that 86, 87 level was kind of or really 86, 88 level was kind of like where the support was at before. We didn't quite get down to 86 on that little peak down. But we are seeing a little bit of volume here on the 90. So notice, look at, they're selling H half back right here. That's what they're doing. They're selling it, trying, just unsuccessfully. But they are selling this H half back, right? That's mechanical sellers trying to hit the bid. And you know, if you're brave here, you get long 90, your stop goes 89.50, and you target them up at the 93. That's where they're at. You know, that's a little bit more of an aggressive trade there. They're able to push it down there, so a loss, tight loss. But I mean, that's what it looks like here. It looks like that's where they're selling at. They're selling that 90. So if they can't keep holding it below the 90, then the odds are that it goes back up to the next spot that they auctioned at where they got short from, and that was back up at like 93, 50, 94. That H high is at like 93. It's 93.75, 93.50. Try it again. The B profile is P is short covering. Yeah, short liquidations too. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, they call it covering. But yeah, same thing. Double R. Seems like they really want that G low. They're trying, like they're, I mean, look at the volume coming in here on this 90 50 right here, comparatively to every other spot. And yet, for some reason, it's just not. And watch this 88 to 86 level here. Down a little bit. The volume just dies as soon as they go down. Look at it, 631. Nothing traded right there. Interesting. Putin says Putin tells Macron that Ukrainian nationalists must lay down arms to resolve tough situation in Mariupol. So he's saying, "You put down your guns, and then we'll call it even." Oh, they're trying to change the rules in the NFL so the overtime is like more college like. That'd be cool. College football overtime is a lot cooler. They're talking about crypto right now on Bloomberg too. Again, that response off that 87, or so the 88 to 86 area is where they responded last time. So they a little bit of a response there. Go watch that 90 50 level. Above that 90 50 level, you'll probably see them go for that H high. I mean, there's just a lot of selling at 90 and kind of below, but the price is really just not making any progress here to the lower side. You need to start elongating this and try to close that gap. What sellers are looking to do here. Watch this 90 level here, guys. This wouldn't be a reshort spot this time, I don't think, up at that 93.50 where TJ shorted last time. I mean, it could be, but it'd be a little bit more dangerous. And a lot of times too, guys, think you got to think about this also. So when we're having these mechanical levels just over and over and over, and you guys should be used to them now because we've seen them pretty much all the way up to now. So now we're seeing them on the downside. This is how I want you to start thinking about them. So okay, so shorts piled in on a mechanical reference, right? This thing auctioned down, um, came back up, opened down here, right? Shorts started to cover. They saw weak buying, so what they do? They sold the F half back because this worked again. So they sold it here. Same thing. Look, G came all the way down. H opened up. There was no buying, probably because shorts already covered. And that's why G moved back up. H opens up. They start shorting again. This time they're not able to get that continuation, so they're less likely to hold on to those shorts this time on a retest of this level on the auction, right? It worked. It worked again. It worked a third time. Right? They definitely could try it again, but they'll be less likely to hold the position longer term, as we've seen them. They've been holding these short positions, especially once they got that liquidation in the center. They've been holding these short positions a little bit longer. But if this starts to break, and especially if that G high starts to break in, that early cessation of or not early cessation, but a cessation of one time framing, then we start to become this starts to become in question. This starts to become in question. And that's how you've got to be kind of, thinking about these things is it like an auction the entire time. Because that's what's going on. And these people are like, oh, okay, let's say if you went somewhere and you sold something for $46 and nobody was trying to buy it, well, if price keeps going down, there's no reason to buy it back, right? Same thing happened here. They shorted here. Look, this time they came up. There's no buying. They probably shorted again. And that's probably that 93 quarter level. 93 quarter, 93.50, whatever. This is on 2 ticks, so whichever one it is, but they're just going to keep doing it until it stops working. So if it keeps working and you keep fighting it, it's going to affect pretty much everything that you've got going on. And you guys can vouch, but I know when I have a good trading day, the rest of my day just seems better than when I don't have a good trading day. Even if it's not. It just seems better. I'm like, well. Oh, it sure is, yeah. And that's why honestly I pushed running the live trade room till later. One, because it's easier to learn when the market is slow. It's less profitable, right? But it's a lot easier to learn and a lot easier to practice when the market is slow. And if you can't trade, and I've said this a million times, if you can't trade when the market's slow, when the market's fast, you're not going to trade good either. But that's why I had to push it, because I was trading the open, and I still take some trades on the open. We're on a better routine now, but sometimes the kids would be in here, just fucking off, and it's like 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, God damn it. Especially if I wasn't doing well, I'd just get, frustrated and just be no good. I'm a regimented person. Like once I decide like I'm gonna do stuff, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm down to 183 pounds now, and in on Thanksgiving I was 223 pounds. Yeah, I know. I was like, you know what? Enough of this. Oh yeah, dude, that thing's a fucking monster. It's so easy, dude. It's just that's why I love it. It's just so convenient. And there's certain things like if you read that book Tiny Habits, floss one tooth a day, right? If that's your goal, if you guys haven't read it, spoiler alert here real quick, but if if you're looking to build a habit on something and you tell yourself like, okay, I'm gonna work out, right? And this is how I did it. I'm like, I need to start working out because I want to lose some weight. So what are the key things that are going to be able to help me um, get to where I want to be? And for me, it's elimination. I just like, I literally just started only eating bananas, apples, rice, and toast, and that's it for like a month. That's all I ate. Prison diet, right? And workout. Boom, I'm jacked now. A month later. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, that's how it was. And it was just, you build these tiny habits. And so if you want to start flossing your teeth and you leave yourself that goal, okay, I'm going to floss my teeth every night before bed. Well, you had a long day and you know, you don't really feel like it, but you've been doing good. You're on like 10 days in a row you floss your teeth every day, but that one day can break you. You know what I mean? That can be the day that breaks it. So as long as you floss one tooth, you still accomplish your task. So even on the days where I get off the stream and I don't want to work out, or I don't feel like getting on the climber, I've made it easy for myself because the climber itself is just so easy. I just climb on it and then just climb for a little bit. And it doesn't take long to just hate it. You know, you get on there. I mean, I'm hitting 20 minutes in a row now, which is basically a godsend, but I mean, it sucks. I hate it every second of it. Right? But I know that it's good. And then, you know, on days where I'm just like, you know, not feeling it, maybe my back's hurting again because I still do have some back problems. 27 kilograms in 3 months. What's that? That's like 2.2 pounds each. What's that? That's like 150 pounds? Oh, no, no. Oh, 27 times 2.2, so it'd be like 75 pounds. Damn, good shit, bro. Awesome. Um, but I mean, that's what you got to do. You just got to figure out what it is. And honestly, if you want to become, 60 pounds, okay. If you want to, if you want to be a consistent trader, well, guess where it starts? Making a trade plan. And if you don't make a trade plan, then set yourself a rule. If I don't make a trade plan, if I don't do my homework every single night to make a trade plan for the next day, then I don't trade. Right? Like showing up to a job site without the plans and still just getting in the tractor and swinging. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a tractor person, but you guys catch my drift. Try to just make a million analogies because everyone is so many different walks of life. I want it to resonate with everybody. Like, okay, okay, I get that. You know, what do you mean? The market's different every day. Do you read them? Yeah, I post them in the Discord every single day. Not last night because we did the last night one live, but yeah, look under market structure trade plan, and it's go back. I made a little slideshow. I think we started like in the beginning of March. I've been tagging at everybody. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you can see, just scroll back in there, check them out, and you can see like the difference. A lot of times they are very similar, especially when you zoom out to the monthly, weekly. You know, it becomes a lot more similar. But when you zoom in, the levels is really what we're paying attention to every single day. And a lot of times we don't get those key levels until the market starts to auction the cash session. But lately, yeah, the idea is to manage risk. That's the idea every single day is to execute my trade plan and manage risk. It's just the uh the levels that we're going to trade from are going to be the key levels. So look, they did end up holding that 94. Right, right. Awesome, man. That's awesome. I've been getting lucky for like a week. These levels have just been fucking playing nice, but yeah, it keeps me on task for sure. Coming back down to this 86 here. They don't get more volume again. It actually looks like there is a little bit of selling down here this time. Yeah, it did. But I mean, there's just no buying up there, which is surprising. It does look like they're selling here though. They're just nervous to hold it. That's the thing, is they're just nervous to hold these shorts. They shorted it again and you're just seeing a bunch of short covering. People are just nervous down here. Makes sense. Um yeah, there's that 90 level again. Above that 90, they might start to just pop back up again. Did anybody crack open that Richest Man of Babylon yesterday? No? Okay. That's a good one. Yeah. You know, right. Yeah, it's such a hard thing to teach kids. Such a hard thing. My uncle, when I was a kid, he would pay us 20 bucks for every book that we read. And he would buy us a book, and then we would have to read it, and it'd be a book that he already read because he reads a fuckload of books. And then he would just be like, okay, what's it about? You know, and just to make sure you weren't bullshitting with him. Yeah, it was cool. 6 minutes until the next period opens up. Still holding that 90 level down. Yeah, and this right here is kind of looking to me like we're getting some late momentum shorters trying to pile on, and they might be getting trapped down here. Um, and we'll know for sure if we get above that 96 that they're trapped, because that thing will fucking probably run straight up to the half back at 4,600. But if they can't, I mean, you're definitely getting some selling down here below this, well, this 90 and below. But if they can't get continuation, that just means that there's not enough supply for how much demand there is, and then you start to see smart money that is short start to cover, and then that turns into secondary buying, and it starts to go up. But this is kind of a tough spot here. All right, Alex, we'll see you later. Who said that? On the 85? On the what number? Not 85. 45. Oh, okay. Oh, 45, 80. We didn't trade down there. Are you talking about earlier? Oh, on the DOM you're looking at. Okay, okay. I see. Oh, okay, I see it. 437 on the 85. Yeah, I don't have the DOM up all the time. I have it up, but it's just on a different screen that I don't really look at that much. There's a weak spot in the profile up at 4,600 too. Looks like. 46, 46. How long will this stream be? I don't know. What's up, Nimris? Thanks for the commentary. Don't know whether you guys look at footprint. Buying clearly entered at the lows of G and when H came back down. Yeah. But you don't need a footprint for that, novice trader. That's the thing. You know what I mean? You just need the profile. I don't know how long the stream will be. I don't know. Sometimes we're just flowing and we just keep going. Like the ocean. Just in motion. Oh, I could just keep rhyming all day. Poetry in motion. And when you say clearly, did you trade it? Trade it, then it can't have been that clear. And really, it doesn't look like buyers are entering down there. It just looks like short covering, and that's why we haven't been able to get above that 94. If it was actual buying and it's starting to look like buying right here above the 90, which is why I was saying those shorts look trapped, late momentum shorts getting trapped, and you'll know for sure if it comes up to 96 that you'll start to see that cover to the 4600. But it doesn't look like people were buying. It just looked like short covering down there. That's all it was. Even on the I don't remember back on the G low. Yeah. Yeah, I had a feeling they were trapped down there. It really looked like it. Poor bastard. They're trying it here again, this 94. They're just trying their hearts out. They give up this, they give up 90, then they'll go to 96. There's a thin spot on the backfill to the profile 4600, which would make sense to hang out there for a bit. And then, we have our levels up. 4610 is the high level. 24 likes today, guys. Let's go. Thank you. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Look, they're still just holding it. And see, that's what's making me think like most of it is just short covering down there. Oh, fuck, what? Yeah, they're just, I mean, it's just selling a mechanical reference. So here goes the I period. Let's see what they've got. Biden's on right now. The market's been liking Biden lately. He's been calling that Biden pump. Yep, today's the day. Buy the breaks, sell the rallies until it gives us something else to do. You got 25 points, Tommy, or what? Like they just can't. That's what I'm saying. There's no. They're just pathetic. Just straight short covering. So this time it's going to be important to watch this 89 level because this is where momentum traders try to get in. So if you start to see them cover in this 94 level, or 89 level, I mean, that could be what they need to pop up over that 94 here. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had 6 TPOs wide up here, and now we've got 7 here. So we're seeing value kind of shift a little bit lower here. 6 here. Those things just bouncing back and forth between 90 and 94 for the most part here. High period yesterday was about 7 ticks wide or 7 points wide yesterday. See if they sell it again. They're getting close to this make or break point here. It kind of looks like. Um, we have this good excess. We're starting to really start to form this 45-degree angle. But if they don't start getting some initiated buying here and start taking some of this, one time framing down that we've been doing, then this thing is just gonna give up. We're not seeing, like I said, I don't really think we're seeing a lot of buying. We're just seeing shorts cover. There's not really, not that I'm seeing at least, um, really strong buying anywhere. I'm just seeing, retail longs get abused by mechanical sellers. Half back at 38. So if it does run the I high and the G high, look for that 460250, this half back to 4600. That's where the volume is really thin, and that could be a good time for people that have been short if they do want to start elongate this B profile that we're having. That could be the ticket there to where they're going to try their next effort. Okay, so just because we break the H high, if we break the H high, who knows if we will, but if we do, don't just assume that this fucking E high is next, right? We've got levels on the way up that you have to see them auction to and watch for that reaction at those levels in order to monitor for continuation. Right here, we're seeing a bunch of interest again on this 94, 93 level, and they just keep, only 114 contracts traded on that high tick right there. We'll watch that 114. And if they're not able to get back up there, and there it goes. So there's somebody bought the stops. That's what that is. Now you monitor for continuation, and your impulse is pretty easily referenced 94. Above 96, 95, I think that's where it goes for that 46 to 4602. And now you're going to see, the possibility of these people that are shorting off of these references start to get nervous, right? Because now price is getting a little bit closer to them. So they're like, okay, well, if price goes down a little bit, I'll cover. And that's when we see these. We see little pops and then little dips and then pops again, little dips, little pops. Okay. Right back down to the 94. They're trying to backfill it above, I think, this 93 quarter is like where all that selling was pouring in. Or 93.50, 93 quarter. Yeah, see, we're like during this high period, even right here, it's like 93, 94. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna call it here. Like I said, I think this 94, 93 level is kind of the area where if they really wanted to hold that's where they should have held. But below 88 to 86, there's definitely some opportunity to attack that low. And if that low does break, they're gonna push it, most likely try to close the gap, right? And that gap's down to 69. So there is still some opportunity there above, right above this G high. If they're able to take that G high, I kind of expect some resistance. 4600, very psychological number, half back, and that's kind of where the volume comes back in. Really, I'm really just kind of waiting to see what comes up here, right? We've seen these mechanical sellers sell this thing down, so if we get above them, they're gonna look for the next spot where they can sell. Well, the next spot where they can sell is the A high. So there might be some opportunity above that 46.10 to trade up to our level at 46.26 quarter. Or my level. I don't know if it's our level, but my level. But other than that, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate everyone liking the video. It's super awesome. The whole goal of this is to try to get good information out for everybody to share. So thank you again. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. If you guys need anything, I'll be around today. I just got to run a couple of errands and hit a workout. But I'll mostly be chilling, so don't be a stranger in the Discord. Um, yeah, every day, man. I'm just here for positivity. Yep. See you guys later.